Namaste, welcome to Season 2, Episode 7, TT Talks. My name is Suhas, and today we have a special guest.
My name is Harshita Ambati.
Awesome. Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I'm a recent college grad, graduated this past December from Loyola University, Chicago. I majored in neuroscience on the pre-med track, still figuring that out though. But yeah, I don't know, what else would you like to know about me?
Like, what are your hobbies?
My hobbies? So I really like art, dabble in graphic design a bit, some physical art styles. Also really like dancing, currently on a dance team, in Chicago. Actually just joined a new dance team in Chicago. And yeah, that's basically like, a summary of my hobbies.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about your dancing journey. So like, how did that start?
So I've been dancing since I was like a kid. First started with like Bharatanatyam, did a couple years of that, never finished. Did Kuchipudi after that for like 6 years. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish that either, even though I really wanted to, because, life hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Then just was never able to finish. And then I joined a hip hop team when I, my freshman year of college. That was fun. Through that, I kind of realized there was no Desi representation or like brown representation in, the Chicago hip hop community. Like I was on a team with one other Desi girl, me looking at, the rest of the Chicago hip hop scene. It was like couple, like maybe like two other people. So like whenever like all the Desis or like the brown people in like the Chicago like hip hop community like met up, or like the Chicago dance community, everyone was like, oh my god, like you're brown, like let's talk. So it was definitely like really weird going from, a Desi like community when I was in high school. I did all these like ISA events and like stuff like that, and then going to like a dance community where there was like rarely any Desi people. It was like rare to see Indians or Pakistanis or XYZ. And then after college, I, this past January joined an all Desi team. They actually used to be an all male team. And then they recently, a couple years ago started including like women and like anyone else that wanted to join. So it's still like there's only like 6 women on the team, and there's like 18 guys. So it's definitely like interesting being on like a Desi female being on a majority male team, because you usually see a majority female team and there's rarely like men. So I feel like that's such an interesting concept.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean we're like a Desi hip hop fusion team. Majority South Indian, which is also pretty rare to see. We're mostly like mostly Malu. But there's the second biggest South Indian population in that team is like Telugu, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
North Indians are the minority, which is also like interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of the dance teams are usually North Indian.
Yeah, like if you look at, so there's this I mean, I don't know if your audience knows about like the Desi collegiate teams in America.
I think some of them know about like Ross,
like Bhangra, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so like there's a Desi fusion circuit similar to that. There's like teams from different colleges all over the United States, and they all compete in like different partner competitions, and then in the end like rank to this big competition called like Legends of Bollywood or whatever. I honestly didn't know about it when I was in college, like much about it, and then I joined this team, and then it was like, woo.
You connected well?
Yeah, with this team, they're actually like super like nice. Like first day, everyone was joking around, making jokes at each other. I don't know, it was just refreshing to like see a very unapologetic Desi team. Like they're unapologetically Desi. Like give like any care of who sees them, who like
like who thinks about them and like
yeah, who thinks about them? They're like, okay, we're Desi, we're gonna show
and
where
we're proud about it.
We're proud about it. So that's what I really like about this team.
Mm-hmm.
We actually also like just rebranded. They used to be so I'm on a team called the Mod Project, and
what does MOD stand for?
Yeah, MOD used to stand for Men of Dance because they used to be all male.
Yeah.
Now it stands for Movement of Desis because
there's more females on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only male. So we recently rebranded, so check out our Instagram if you...
Yeah, I'll link it below in the description.
Yeah, so there's that. Yeah.
So would you say Loyola isn't very diverse when it comes to South Indians?
I would say, it is a predominantly white institution. But I would say, like, the Desi, brown... not just Desi, but just like, South Asian representation at Loyola is pretty like strong, I would say. There's ISA, like Indian Student
Is it strong compared to other universities in Chicago?
I would say it's a little less. Like, I would say maybe like UIC, UIUC would have a stronger Desi representation, brown representation. But Loyola doesn't, lack anything in brown representation. They have their own organizations. They have, they're pretty loud about it. There's like Desis on campus, and that they have a community. But I would just say, like, there's a less population of Desis at Loyola than there is at,
but like you guys are still like
we're still
group.
Like connected.
Yeah.
We still vibe with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So do you guys do any like outside of dance events together as a team?
I mean, all of us are adults, like out of college. So we hang out sometimes. We get dinner together. We like talk about, we like text each other. We do movie nights sometimes. I know recently, like a lot of them went to, I don't know if you guys know this movie, like RRR that just came out. Yeah.
Everyone knows that movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty high profile movie. If you don't know it, I'll be like, where are you?
Yeah, wake up.
Wake up. Exactly. So they all went to RRR. They went to the Telugu version. There was a Tamilian that went. There was.
So like when it comes to like films, do you think that like South Asians don't really have like they don't really care about the language that much? Would you say that?
I would say that South Indians, I wouldn't say they don't care about the language. It's more like, even in general, people would enjoy the movie more. I feel like the general population, if they could understand it and they don't have to read subtitles and stuff, even though the subtitle option is available. But I feel like especially like my community, like the people I surround myself with, they are open to like knowing about new languages, trying to understand new languages, experiencing like new languages, new dialects, new cultures type of thing. Because all, South Indians are pretty diverse.
Yeah.
They're not just like
Telugu and Tamil.
Telugu, Tamil, Malu, Kannada.
The list goes on.
The list goes on. Yeah, I can't think of everything, but yeah. So I feel like they're diverse in their own cultures, their own languages. We're pretty same, but pretty different at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so now like shifting the perspective a little bit broader. So would you think that Chicago is more diverse than other major cities in the U.S. when it comes to South Asians, or a little less? I
personally think Chicago is pretty diverse when South Asians in general, so that's like, not just Indian people. Yeah.
North Indians, South Indians, East and West.
I mean, South Asians doesn't only encompass Indian
people. Indian, yeah.
So it would be like Pakistani, Bangladesh, Nepalese, XYZ.
Yeah.
So I would say we're fairly diverse. Like I haven't had an issue with the diversity in Chicago personally.
Have there been any like big major events for South Asians?
I mean, there's been like small, not like major events, but like there's like marches. There was like the Stop Asian Hate Movement march. There's that. There have been like small cultural events. I wouldn't say they're so high profile though. I know like a lot of universities have their own high profile events. Like Holi is a big thing every single year. People
Diwali.
Diwali, like Navaratri, they do the Garba and Ras and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think like within their own sphere, like universities have pretty like nice South Asian representation. Like some have like K-pop like festivals, and like there's Taste of Korea in Chicago.
Oh wow.
Which is a whole event. There's also like the Chinese New Year festivals. So I think like just Asian representation in general is pretty strong in Chicago. But I would say like maybe like Cali, New York, New Jersey areas have, I would say, a bit more like Asian representation.
And I think that's just based on like more
it was more like geography
type
of thing. But I would say like Chicago's pretty good with Asian population.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit more personal details with you.
Okay.
So when was the last time you went to India?
Last time I went to India was 2018.
18.
Yeah.
And were you like, what's your career like? What grade were you in? Or like
I just finished my senior year of high school, and I was going into college. So the summer between that like weird transition period, I went to India.
Is there like a reason why you guys went, or?
Well, yeah, I kind of don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, that is like a way too personal.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we went just to like visit family. There were more like ulterior motives.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Did you guys visit like any specific like monumental architecture or like places like that?
We visited. I don't think we went anywhere last time. Yeah, but before like I visited like there's this temple that is escaping me in Hyderabad. It's like a white marble temple.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. You should go. You should like go sometime. I forgot the name of the temple.
I'll include in the description if I find out the name.
I will figure it out after. If I Google search it, it will come up because there's not many white marble temples in like Hyderabad.
Yeah.
So we went there, and then we went to like Tirupati.
Yeah.
You know, the 7 hills.
Yeah.
Climbed the stairs.
Yeah.
5 hours. Up all those 7 hills to get to the top. Because my mom made me. That was fun. Not really. Almost got attacked by monkeys while we were eating food.
Oh my god.
They're very pleasant.
It's like a whole new experience.
It is. You need to go to India. And,
yeah, everyone needs to
almost get attacked by monkeys.
And like visit an auto and like.
Yeah, autos are fun.
Street food.
Don't speak it. Don't if you have a weird like if you speak Telugu.
Yeah.
Or if you speak like some Indian language. Like, I would say, like, my mom always tells me to, like, be quiet whenever we're in an auto because I have an accent, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, this person's not from, like...
And they'll overcharge
overcharge us. So I'm always, like, sitting in the auto, like texting my mom, like, this. So, yeah. But it's definitely fun to go in an auto because, like, I'm from here, never grew up in India. So, like, going in an auto, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm in, like, a movie.
It's like you're more free.
You're more free. You feel the wind, especially when it's hot in India. You're like, oh, this is so nice. And, like, it's, like, fresh air, too. It's not, like, air conditioning air.
Yeah.
But you feel like obviously you're not a local, but you feel like a local. Like, especially, like, there's no autos in America.
Yeah.
So you're, like, sitting there and you're like, yes, auto rickshaw. Living the Hyderabad.
Hyderabadi life.
Yeah, Hyderabadi life. Yeah.
And do you have, like, a favorite street food in mind from Hyderabad?
I don't really eat street food in Hyderabad.
Okay.
Personally, because I get sick. One time I did, and I'm not there for a long time. I don't want to get sick. Time. So I try not to eat street food, but I've always wanted to try like their pani puri or like the chaat that they have.
There's a lot of chats.
Yeah, like I just want to try it. I feel like it's like a different taste altogether.
Yeah, I always wanted to go like during Ramadan there.
Yeah, Ramadan. Yeah, go near like the Charminar and they have like, the vendor stalls.
And then they have like halal there. And...
I personally don't like halal.
Oh, okay.
But
there's vegetarian options too.
It's not just I'm not vegetarian. I just don't like halal. Cause
okay.
Personally, Halim, you mean?
Did I say halal? Yeah, Halim, that's what I meant.
Wait, no, I ran with it too. I was like halal. Wait, no, that's not it. Halim, yeah. I personally don't like Halim.
Okay.
But, you know, you do you, fam.
There's still options. I mean.
Yeah. There's so many options.
Yeah, seriously.
Go to
You just-
India. Anything.
You just need to be careful sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely vibe. I'm going back literally on April 12th. So I'm excited to be back.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Excited to be back. It's going to be really hot and I'm probably going to like die because of the heat. But still will be fun. Meeting up with family. But yeah.
That's definitely cool. Like especially the mosquitoes there.
Oh my gosh, the mosquitoes only go to me. I'm like mosquito attracted.
No, that's what happens to everyone from like that goes to there.
No, like I go with my parents or I go with like someone else, right? And like they're fine. Like if they're standing next to me, like, all the mosquitoes go to me. They're like fine. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just stand next to her. She'll like, you know,
she'll attract them.
Yeah, she'll attract them and she'll get bitten. We'll be fine. I'm like. Like at night I'll be like trying not to itch these mosquito bites because you know India mosquitoes are a different breed.
Yeah, than the ones here.
And when they bite, they're huge. So I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you just been to Hyderabad or like other cities in India?
Fortunately, I mean I've been to other cities in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana area, but I've never been outside of that area.
Really?
Yeah, or those states. Well, they were one state, but those two states. Which I mean, I like landed in the New Delhi airport one time. Never went outside. But that's about it. I really want to go to like Himachal Pradesh or like.
That's way northern, right?
Yeah. Like I want to see like north, and I also want to go to like Kerala. I heard like Kerala has like really nice like seafood and everything.
Yeah.
And like nature stuff. Like I'm really into like the nature stuff in India. Or like Rajasthan. I want to see all those castles, man. Like all those forts.
Like the Red Fort.
Yeah, like all of those like I almost spoke in Telugu, but like the old days like kings and stuff. Like,
yeah, Rajalu and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. So another like big aspect of like you speak Telugu, right?
Yes, I do.
So like a big industry that's Telugu is the Tollywood movie industry.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that industry and like how that works?
I definitely think like it's good to have, the Tollywood industry. But I think it's very like Telugu representation, like the language, yes, but also it's very like I feel like it's like decreasing in quality, yeah. So like, the Malayalam industry coming out with these like storyline movies, like, Oscar type worthy movies, but like I feel like the Telugu industry is still kind of stuck in like the same old formula, like the mass hero fighting, like hero entrance, like music.
And then heroine enters.
Yeah, like those like Rajinikanth entrances that you see, like Dhanush entrances, like those type of entrances, like with I forgot, like Mahesh Babu or like stuff.
Allu Arjun,
yeah, Ramcharan, XYZ. I feel like.
But they're releasing new type of movies now. Like
I feel
Pushpa.
like, but they're still like.
Same formula.
Same formula.
Okay.
Like like Ala Vaikuntapuramlo was like with Allu Arjun was seen as like new, different.
Yeah.
But also like it had the same Allu Arjun like mass hero.
Fighting. Yeah.
Fighting. I do everything. No female role. Like Pooja Hegde didn't have that much of a role. She wasn't. If you took her out of the movie, she wouldn't.
Make a big difference.
It wouldn't make a big difference. So yeah.
And then what do you think about like Telugu heroes entering politics?
I personally don't really see the need for them to enter politics. Like, you're an actor. Like, the previous people I've seen enter politics, like Chiranjeevi, Pawan Kalyan, Balakrishna, like the big families. Like, I feel like they didn't really do much for anything. Like, they just entered politics just because why not?
And then a lot of people say, like, unless you have, like, connections to, like, those three families, like
you're not really, like...
Yeah, you're not gonna be a big icon in it.
Yeah, which I think is... I mean, yeah, it's, like, mafia, basically.
Well, yeah, they're, like, kind of ruling the industry itself. Yeah.
So, there's that, too. That's a whole, like, giant debate.
Yeah.
Giant conversation.
And then what do you think about, like, more, like, North Indian actors and actresses entering South Indian movies? Like, Saho had... I forgot her name.
Sahil?
Saho.
Oh, Shraddha Kapoor?
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with that, it's more like, it's not because, like, these actresses, no offense, but it's not like these actresses are, like, super, they want these actresses because they're, like,
the roles.
the best. They're
Yeah.
super skilled. They fit this. I feel like they want those actresses because they're fair-skinned. Like, lighter-skinned.
Really?
Because if you look at all of the actresses in Hollywood cinema and Tamil cinema, XYZ, that are North Indian, they're all fair-skinned. And I feel like India's still stuck up in that, like, females have to be fair-skinned.
Yeah, like stereotypes.
Stereotype. They may not, like, always intentionally do it, but I feel like there's always that inherent bias.
I thought they do it for, like, the popularity factor.
If it was a popularity, I feel like in certain cases, yeah, like Alia Bhatt, she's super popular.
Yeah.
But I feel like, for example, Pooja Hegde was not ever popular. She was a model. She was never an actress. She started, I think, in South Indian cinema, and they took her because she was, you know,
Like,
lighter skin,
yeah.
fair skin. Tamanna, same idea. I'm trying to think of other people.
so do you think it's just, like, a really unhealthy beauty stereotype or, like, requirement?
I feel like, yeah, there's, if you look at, you know, all these big name actresses in South Indian cinema,
Mm-hmm.
they're mainly fair skinned.
Do you think that same bias applies to heroes?
I don't think so. Personally, like, if you look at heroes, you know, skin color doesn't necessarily matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a role requirement.
I feel like it won't be skin color, but it's like fitness.
Fitness, kind of. Unless you're obviously from, like, the big three.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, like, if you're an actor or actress or whatnot, I don't think any of that should matter. You should play the role, play it well, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna look at fitness for, like, a like a regular job, like a computer engineer. You're gonna be like, oh my god, you have to be super fit to work on the
code.
computers. Yeah, code. I'm like, okay, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, for the whole, if you want to be, like, a Telugu actress, you need to, like, attend all those, like, audio launch events, like, those interviews and, like, all that.
I feel like, yeah, it just became, like,
it felt like a business.
Yeah, the movie industry
it's
is a business.
but, like,
it is a business, yeah. Like, it's so, I mean, personally, I don't watch any of that.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously people that are fans, XYZ, like, you know, come to that and they do it for, like, the fans, for, like, the promotions.
Yeah.
But I feel like the amount of, like, promotions they do is just, like,
It feels unnecessary.
it feels unnecessary. It's just exhausting to even think about. It's probably exhausting for them to go
Yeah.
to. And I'm like, that, but, like, you know, the public wants it, so
Mm-hmm.
they have to do it. But I feel like even, like, back then, you know, before us, I don't think they ever used to do all these 50,000 audio launch events.
Like Maya Bazaar times?
Yeah, even after that. Just, like, before.
Like, early 2000s.
The early
maybe.
2000s. So, like, my like, when I was born
yeah.
young toddler, I feel like they didn't do as much as they do
And
now.
they focused more on, like, the acting skills.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like now they, like, keep just putting out movies, which is why they're running out of
Ideas.
doing the same formula, which is fine if it works, but also, like, personally, I'm getting tired of watching it. That's why I'm like, Telugu movies right now, I'm like, I don't really know what's going on because I don't follow it anymore, which is unfortunate. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? How do you know, you've been asking me questions since
You're the special
I know,
guest.
but I you know, I personally also want to know about you. What do you think about? I said all these things about the Tollywood cinema thing. What do you, like, in general think about, like, you know, bringing North Indians, actresses mainly, into South Indian cinema?
No, I just
What do you
thought it
prefer?
was just, like, for a popularity thing to, like, get some more audience, you know.
Got you. So why do you think they don't bring, like, majority North Indian actors into South Indian cinema? Yeah, the guys.
They do. They brought Ajay Devgan into RRR.
Yeah, but he didn't have
Like,
a major role. Like, same with heroines, they have, like, you know, female lead.
See, I think the thing is that people still have that stereotype where you can only have one actor but multiple heroines,
Yeah.
but not one heroine and multiple actors.
Yeah.
So, and then that comes from, like, the whole India thinking, and I don't want to get into that, but
Yeah, that's a whole like
yeah,
topic.
but like I feel like that even if they don't mean it like that, that's how it comes off at times.
Yeah.
Let's go back to you now because you're the special guest.
Got you.
So have you done any like other forms of art? Like actually, let's go to So you do marketing, right? Like graphic design and stuff like that.
Well, I recently started dabbling in that.
As a hobby and stuff.
Yeah, it was mainly for my dance team. I was really interested in like the rebranding stuff, which I mean I learned about before they asked me to do it, because one of the guys on the dance team, was talking to me about it, even though he wasn't supposed to. Or I don't know if he was supposed to, but yeah. So one of them saw and they reached out on my art account that I have on Instagram, and they were like, "Hey, you do Desi art?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so we set up a meeting. They told me about their plans. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have experience in marketing. I'm primarily a STEM major. Never did any of this in my life. Even graphic design. I never learned graphic design just because, I didn't have the technology or anything for like iPads or XYZ. So I was like, okay, so like I can only produce physical art. And they're like, that's fine. But then like after that, I was like, kept thinking, I was like, how am I going to translate my physical like drawings on pen and paper to online Instagram content? And so I was like, you know what, I'll just try learning, digital art. So I tried with Adobe Fresco on my phone.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Or maybe, I'm just kidding.
Reach out to her, please.
Please watch this, Representative Adobe Fresco. But yeah, so I tried with that. That was a pain to do on my tiny phone. But yeah, that was that.
What's that?
Yeah, but I never had any experience, just gained experience, and yeah, now I'm part of the marketing and media team, I guess, for my dance group.
So do you think graphic design is like a South Asian like type job, or do you think it's like...
I feel like graphic design is like, if you're creative, it's like irrespective of, culture, race.
I'm just like bringing that up
ethnicity.
Because like there's a lot of talk about like South Asian families like trying to just pump out doctors and engineers and not really like caring about like their kids'
so you're
interests.
saying like, is it like a not stereotypical, but you're like, is it
I don't know, like I feel like reliable in a sense. I feel like that's
is it, do you think it's like fits the South Asian formula like of job
like thing? Do you think that a lot of parents would be willing to let their kids do that?
I feel like graphic design is a pretty growing field. Everyone needs graphic design. Your Microsoft logo probably was designed by a graphic designer. Google, XYZ. Google probably has like their in-house graphic designer. Because they change their like little Google logo every single event.
And like the art on the Google screen.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like graphic design, like if you're good at it, you're hella creative, you can market yourself well, you could probably make yourself
bank.
You could make bank. You could have your own like little
commission job,
business commission, even a side commission, I guess, like a side job if you want. But yeah, I feel like I don't know if it would be like a South Asian approved, like parent approved, because I feel like a lot of people like do not not understand, but like don't know like fully like the stuff that goes into graphic design. I didn't even know until like I started doing it. And I need to know like 5, 6, 7 different software things to like, make something work. And I feel like if it was more like advertised or like people knew about it more, I feel like people wouldn't be opposed to other people going into it, especially if you have like such an artistic ability background. You'd be pretty good at graphic design.
Yeah, the whole reason that question popped up was like me and my friends were like talking a couple days ago, and like they felt like sometimes like they know a couple people where like their parents forced them to enter something or like do something they didn't really want to do in the future, and like that really impacted their whole self-esteem and like interest in whatever they did. Yeah. So did your parents ever force anything you did on you, or? I
feel like my parents are like, still the stereotypical, Desi parents, South Asian parents. They were like, doctor, engineer, something tech or something medicine. And luckily, I was inclined towards medicine. Also inclined towards the arts, but not enough to pursue a career in. And I also, it was also kind of ingrained into me in, like, my community, my, like, Indian community, and through my parents that, art wasn't a good field to go into because you wouldn't make money.
Yeah.
But there's so many aspects to art. We were talking about graphic design. You can combine tech and art, which one of my friends is like...
3D printing, yeah.
Yeah, 3D printing. One of my friends is doing some tech art related major at NYU. I forgot what it was called. It was a really long major, so I'm not really sure what it was called. But
well, it exists.
It exists, yeah. So I feel like it's not like, black and white where it's like medicine or like science and tech will bring you the most money, or like certain business related things. But yeah, I feel like what was the question? Wait, I literally
Wait, I kind of forgot. I think it was just like the parents.
Oh, did my parents force me?
Yeah.
Okay, my parents didn't necessarily force me. I feel like they did in the beginning when I entered college, or like science or tech.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like now, like when so I started doing this graphic design thing for my dance thing, and they saw how I was like pretty good at it, and I learned all this software on my own. And they're like, "Do you want to do graphic design? Like, do you want to?" And I was like, not as a career, no. Because I mean, I feel like it would just be like me staring at my like laptop, iPad, whatnot, doing all these designs, and like personally, I can't do art all the time because
that drains you out.
Yeah, it drains me out. It drains my creative process. It drains like my ideas and everything.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about like Tollywood earlier and how they do this so many movies and like they're out of ideas, so they do the same thing. So I feel like that would happen to me, because I do have like a certain like style of art I stick to, and after a while you run out of experimentation if you're in that one style of art. So I'm like, maybe not as a career, but I can make it a side hustle if I want to.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
So like you mentioned how you graduated college a couple years ago. So like in your apartments, did you have any like, were your like roommates like primarily South Asian, or like did you do anything like that?
So I didn't have any roommates in my senior and junior year of college, just because junior year was entirely remote, COVID. Senior year I lived alone. But my roommates would not have been South Asian.
So was it like hard like living on your own to like carry on your traditions as a South Asian person?
No, not necessarily. I feel like I mean like I lived in a South Asian Indian household my entire life, so all of that stuck with me. Like I don't do certain things. Like I'm not really religious personally, but like I still follow certain religious customs just because I've done it my entire life. Like I don't eat meat Saturdays for no reason. Personally,
you just done it like
I've just done it forever, so now it feels weird to break it.
Yeah.
Or like I don't eat like beef or pork, even though I can if I wanted to, because I've never done it my entire life. Or like not eat non-veg during festivals
or something. Yeah.
Even though I don't sell like personally, like my parents do, but I personally am not inclined to religion.
That's fine.
But like I feel like it was just like a daily
thing, so
daily
you just
thing.
continued.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, Indian food I'm gonna eat. That's my comfort because that's what I ate at home.
Have you had any experiences where like people ridiculed you or like showed prejudice that you were South Asian?
Yeah, I mean you get that, like I feel like in America that's pretty common. Either if it's like just general bias, like indirect bias, or like people directly saying something to you. But I've had those instances in high school where people were like,
they said like those,
the
like the C word and like
stuff. Yeah, the stereotypical things that you say to like brown people.
Yeah,
just think of all those things. Made fun of my name, XYZ, and I don't want to say what they said because that's not good. And even in college, like even though I lived in a pretty like nice community, and my college was in a pretty nice community, there are, those people that are racist and intend to harm you because of your race. And that has happened on a couple instances because people exist. Yeah. So that definitely has been, like, kind of frightening and, like, interesting having to deal with on your own.
But, like, have you seen, like, a change nowadays?
I feel like now, compared to when I first started college, just because of the political climate that changed,
and what do you?
It has gotten better now than it was
a couple years ago.
Also, it has gotten worse in certain instances. I feel like, so, like, outward racism, definitely, like, for my community, for my skin color, XYZ, has somewhat gotten better, in my opinion, or I either got used to it. It's one of those things. one of those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like Asian hate in general has gotten worse due to COVID.
Okay.
And the political climate when I was first in college was, not to get into, like, super into politics, but it was, Trump was in presidency when I was first started college. And that kind of created a lot of strife and conflict in certain instances when I, went on, like, CTA, like, public transit, or, like, walked outside to, like, the store.
Yeah.
People were outwardly, blatantly would yell at me or XYZ.
Oh, yell at you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or, like, I had a lot of, like, Muslim friends in college, and a lot of them wore hijabs or like coverings, and they would get yelled at a lot too.
Ooh, okay.
If they were with me or if they were with someone else. So I feel like there's that, unfortunately.
And go ahead.
Also, I was like just gonna say, like, nowadays I feel like it still is, but, like, it's a little bit more concealed in certain aspects. But there's still scary things that are happening in the
community,
like, the idea under the category of racism. Like, there has been a lot of, like, people pushing people onto train tracks because that has been due to race, or, like, people hitting other people due to race. So violence has also become pretty common now.
Yeah. And do you think, like, more South Asians entering politics in the U.S., do you think that played a role in any of this?
Personally, I didn't really see a change.
Okay.
More South Asians were, voted into their positions in politics. But in the general public community, I don't really see that much of a change in terms of it getting better for people of color or, like, Black people. So, like, I definitely think, racism has stayed pretty constant. So, yeah, to change my answer earlier, I think it's been pretty constant.
Constant.
Yeah. In like, the Chicago community, when it toward, like, violence or racism or bias towards South Asians or any person of color. It's been pretty constant.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's start closing it up then.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to really add, or?
I mean, no, not really. It's, in terms, like, to add stuff, I feel like, there's all this, like, racism, strife.
Yeah.
Whatever, people against you in the community, XYZ. But I feel like, you should be unapologetically you.
Yeah.
Unapologetically
proud of yourself. Like, just be
you. Honestly,
just be part of a community that's willing to accept you for who you are.
Exactly. It is pretty hard to do when other people are against you. But one thing I kind of learned after I, like, left college is, like, be yourself. Don't change for anyone else. Don't change your culture for anyone else. Don't change your religion, your
language,
idea of yourself to anyone else. Because let me just say, one thing that, like, I kind of did in college is I went by, like, a nickname. So I went by Hershey. in college.
Like Hershey, like Candy Hershey?
Yeah, like the Candy Hershey.
Uh-huh.
And it's similar to my name, but like I kind of regret that I never like used to stand up for myself in my name, like Harshita, because it was always misconceived as
like too long and too complex.
Or people said it in the wrong way that was kind of offensive.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna repeat because it's a swear word. But you get the idea. But yeah, so I feel like after I left college and I joined this like community, this all Desi dance community, it was like it just made me embrace like more of who I am. I went by like my actual name instead of going by a nickname, which people, that's still like my name. It's a nickname, but
you're not hesitant at all to like.
Not hesitant to be unapologetically
yourself.
Desi and myself. So yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for taking the time out to do this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And like all resources for like the mod project, and any other things we might have missed in this video will be linked in the description. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for listening.